How to stop bleeding. Okay, you should know that one very well. And then we'll move into table topics, and Lawrence is going to host table topics. So let's talk about the word of the day.
Word of the day, pejorative. Synonyms, examples, word. So it's an adjective, having a disparaging, derogatory, or belittling effect or force. The pejorative affecting, principling. A noun, pejorative form or word, as taster. Sorry, that didn't probably help no one.
Maybe we'll just pass that one around. It's a little challenging.
Having disparaging effect.
Can you pronounce it? Pejorative?
Pejorative.
Pejorative. All right. Hey, how you
Hello.
doing?
Hello.
Welcome. Come on in.
Firestone.
Sit down.
Come on in, have a seat.
Up there.
Okay, well, I'd like to welcome up our first speaker, David, to talk about passive income. Let's give him a round.
Make them feel better.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Fellow Toastmasters, honored guest, welcome by the way. If you spent any time online at all, then you've seen headlines such as make money from home, work from home, how to make money online, multiple streams of income. These are all forms of making money online. But wait, I'm the apartment guy. The heck do I know about making money online? Tonight, I'm going to introduce you to a simple way of making massive passive income from your computer, not your real estate broker. Anybody around here know a real estate broker anywhere? I don't know. We all have hobbies that we're very passionate about. Lawrence, do you have any hobbies that you're really passionate about?
No.
You've got to have something.
Anything that has to do with water, I love.
Anything to do with water. Do you think you could write about things that have to do with water?
Quite possible.
Okay, well,
Yep.
how would you like to make money while you sleep writing about water?
Okay. Is that one of those psychic things?
No.
Writing in your sleep?
But David, how in the world am I going to make money while I sleep? Well, I'll tell you. From a little known secret called email marketing. I'm sure that you have all been on the internet searching for something that you're interested in, and then the next thing you know, you're receiving emails about that product or service you were searching for to get you to purchase that product or service online. That is known as email marketing. The process is fairly simple. The hardest thing you need to do is write a 25 to 30-page report on how to solve a problem in the hobby that you're so interested in. That shouldn't be too hard. It's writing that's the hard part. Then you create a web page where you can collect somebody's name and email address. Now, you'll need to sign up for an email service provider that will be able to collect, arrange, and store these email addresses. The two most popular email service providers are Aweber and GetResponse. Some of you may know them, some of you may not. If you don't know anything about email marketing, you wouldn't. They're very, very inexpensive services, but they will do wonders. This is also where you'll be able to get your form that you will put on your website. Now, we're not going to go into website design, that's for a whole nother class. Now you want to search online for people that are selling information, not specifically products, but information about this hobby that you're so interested in, whether it's water, whether it's real estate investing, or anything else. The best place to find sellers of information is a website called clickbank.com. Clickbank.com. When you sign up for your free account, you would select 3 to 5 products, information products, that you will be able to market to the people that sign up on your website. Here's another hard one. Now you have to write 10 to 20 emails about this hobby of yours. The emails should be a mix of information about your hobby and recommendations on where to get more information. They should be about 60% information and 40% recommendation. Upload the emails when they're done to your new email service provider. Your email service provider will then send 1 email per day for as long as you want. If you have 20 emails, could be 20 days. But if you space your emails apart, which you can do through the email service provider, you can make it last 2-3 months, depending on how long you want to trickle that out. The next thing you want to do is set up a Facebook page. We all have been on Facebook. We all know Facebook. We probably all have accounts. I'm sure you've all been to Facebook pages. They're free. They're really easy to set up. The key is the upper image. To put a call to action in the upper image that will send people to your website. When they get to your website, they will see a compelling reason to download that free report. And in order for them to download it, they have to give you their name and email address. They'll get an email from you, they'll read it, they'll see the link in the email. If your information is good and compelling, they'll click on the link. If they buy the product, you make money. It's that simple. You get a percentage, typically 50 to 75% of whatever they're selling that product for. If it's a $20 product, you can make up to $15. You do this 24/7, whether you're sleeping or not. Lawrence, I hate to ask you this, but do you think you might have another hobby that you'd really be interested in? Speaking. So you could write about speaking and rinse and repeat. And watch massive passive income flow into your bank account 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, David. Thank you. All right. Okay, our second speaker tonight is Paul. Paul's going to be talking about how to stop bleeding.
I feel pressure.
Fellow Toastmasters, honored guests, tonight I'm going to talk to you about how to stop bleeding. Now, my subject is adapted from Stop the Bleed, which is really a movement to help us gain awareness about how we as civilians can help people who have been injured, who have trauma. You can find this information at bleedingcontrol.org. So, how to stop bleeding. Death can be prevented by stopping bleeding, and you can do this. Well, why is it important, and why should we know how to do this? Well, don't we have emergency medical technicians and how to train professionals who can do this for us? All I really need to do is call 911. And it's true, they can certainly do it better than me or most people. But the problem is that when people are injured, in certain circumstances, they need immediate action to help save their lives. And this is what I want to talk about. It can take as little as 3 minutes for someone to bleed out and die. Let me tell you a story. A 15-year-old girl with her boyfriend, they found a gun in the house and were playing with it. The gun went off and the girl was shot in the arm. The boy panicked. He didn't know what to do. The girl was in pain, bleeding. Her sister came in and tried to help her. They called 911, but then they're like, what if they don't come in time? They got her in the car. There's a car wreck. The girl bled out and she died. This tragedy, it could have been prevented. And today I want to teach you how to do this. So when you come across someone who is injured on the scene, the first thing we have to think about is our own safety. And is this area safe for me to go and help this person? Is there traffic running back and forth, or is there a shooter present? You have to ask yourself these questions. And call 911 is a given, but always try to get help at that time. But once you determine that it's safe and that person is in need, you go immediately to the assessment. Check, is a person conscious? Do they have a pulse? Just place your finger right here and move it to that groove in the neck, and that's your carotid artery on either side. Is your airway open? Are they breathing? And then, while this is basic life support, the subject I want to focus on is on assessing bleeding. So next step would be checking injuries. Identify the bleeding source and location. Is there life-threatening bleeding? So there are three main types of blood vessels in the body that can injure: arteries, veins, and capillaries. Arteries carry oxygenated blood from the heart to the tissues of the body. Capillaries are the tiniest vessels, and they connect those arteries to the veins, which carry the deoxygenated blood back to the heart to be pumped again. When a capillary or veins are cut, they ooze dark blood. They're low pressure, so they're not going to bleed as fast as, say, an artery, which is under high pressure from the heart. This would be bright red blood that spurts out with each heartbeat, and these can be deadly. So a lot of times it's hard to tell if it's an artery or a vein. So the first thing you ought to do is really just place pressure, no matter what. Put pressure on it, anywhere on the body. Now, when we think about the injury, there are three main locations: a limb, arm, or leg, a junction between the body and the limb, such as in the neck, in the shoulder, and the groin, and then also internally. And there are three main techniques I want to talk about of how you can stop bleeding. And first off, I've already mentioned, just apply pressure. When you can, get a first aid kit, put some gloves on, try to protect yourself as much as you can. Sometimes you have to improvise, but just applying pressure a lot of times will stop the bleeding. And if it's not, then another thing you can do is you can pack a wound with clean gauze and then apply more pressure. In packing the wound, you get there's the gauze real close to the bleeding vessels, and that way it makes it easier for you to stop bleeding. Another thing you can do for a bleeding limb is that you can apply a tourniquet, which is basically a band that you can place over the arm. And a lot of these are prefabricated. And you can just pull these tight, strap it down, and then there's a windlass that you can turn and twist. And you twist until the bleeding stops. And these can be life-saving. Place it above the wound, not on it, and place it above the joint. And now these junction areas, you can't place a tourniquet on, but the packing can really help, and the pressure can really help. Another important thing is, in all circumstances, keep the patient warm. Because when you're bleeding, it's really easy for your body to become cold. They can develop hypothermia. Now, the blood clots best when we're warm. When we're cold, it doesn't clot as well. So if they have some wet clothes and they're freezing, take the wet clothes off and dry them off, cover them up in something warm, protect them from the elements. So in conclusion, I hope that you can take away that when someone has been injured and is bleeding, that we can make a difference. First off, we need to be mentally prepared for it. But now you know what to do. You can assess the patient, and then, or the victim, and assess the bleeding, the inside of the injury. Apply pressure, pack and pressure, or apply a tourniquet when available. So, if you're interested, take a first aid course. Practicing can help you develop these skills and help you be prepared for emergency situations where you can help others. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. That was great. I know a couple of times I've been at an accident and nothing that serious, but someone's injured. And it takes a long time for emergency services to show up. It certainly feels like a long time in that situation. So having some tips on some things to do to help someone out and frankly just to be able to do something in that situation is very helpful. So Lawrence, you're going to be covering table topics for us.
Good evening. For our guests, I would like to explain what table topics are. Table topics, to me, are one of the most exciting parts of the Toastmaster meeting. I think also this is one of the most beneficial points when you're talking about business, because you're always in a situation in business where you're asked questions and you have to be spontaneous in giving an answer. Also, if you're working for yourself, of course, everybody knows entrepreneurs need to have an elevator speech. Well, you don't need an elevator speech if you know what you're talking about and you're prepared to speak on the spur of the moment. And so that's what Table Topics does. I will, as Table Topics Master, I will come up with a point or a topic, and then I'll get volunteers from the club who will come up and speak for 1 to 2 minutes on that particular topic. They won't know what their topic is until they are ready to speak. Okay, so let me look through here and see if I can find a good impromptu topic. Let's see, one that might not have been done yet. So, who wants to be our first, volunteer for table topics this evening? Oh, you gave a speech. We'll let somebody else speak if there's another volunteer. All right, we'll let you, Cody, be our first volunteer. Okay, if you had to be the zookeeper for a week, which animal would you be most excited working with? Mr. Cody. If you were a zookeeper, which animal would you be most excited to work with?
I've just been promoted from cleaning up the behind the animals to now I'm a zookeeper, and I get to display some animal feats and show off the animals that we have in the zoo to the guests. I've been put in charge of the giraffes. So I don't know if you guys have seen this giraffe video going around Facebook from Channel 5. I don't really understand why they're showing this video, but I've seen some giraffes recently, so I kind of know how they operate. So I think one of the interesting things about giraffes is that they're just kind of a unique animal. So I picked that so I really wouldn't have to do a whole lot, not a lot of training, so I could just get out there, feed the giraffe something, you know, show the audience the long neck and come down and bite something out of my hand. So this is the animal that I would be training and showing off as my new role as a zookeeper. Thank you, Mr.
So our next, so as a zookeeper, that's a very interesting. There's a lot of interesting things about giraffes, but that's a topic for another conversation. So for our next topic, who wants to be next? Miss Heather, you want to be next?
Yes.
Oh, I thought I saw you raise your eyebrows or something. Okay. It is true that a smooth path may get you there faster, but the rough trail will teach you more of what? Miss Heather, the smooth path will get you there quicker, but the rough path will teach you more of what?
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and honored guests. The smooth path will get you there faster, but the rough trail will get you maybe more experience, maybe a better understanding of whatever you're learning, a better set of skills with whatever you're trying to achieve. I think that often we're told that in order to be successful, you have to fail like many times. Like you have to do things kind of the wrong way before you learn and finally do it right. So I guess the rough path would get you a better understanding of whatever you're trying to learn. I think as far as me as a person, like I'm always trying to learn stuff, like new skills. I'm really interested in a lot of things. So what I find is that whenever I'm trying to learn something, it's often, if you want to be good at something, it's not going to be easy. So it takes a lot of perseverance, and not to sound too inspirational, but it just takes a lot of, I guess it can be very rough. And so even though the sound of something being smooth, getting you somewhere faster, sounds nice, it's often not the reality, or it's often not possible for a lot of things that people want to achieve. So I think a rough path will help you to be more skilled and experienced with whatever you're trying to achieve.
Miss Katie, do we have time for one more?
Yes.
Okay. Does anybody want to be? All right. Tammy, this might be an interesting one for you. You're 15 years old. You want to get a tattoo. What kind of tattoo do you want? And you must convince us, as your surrogate parents, that you should be able to get that tattoo. Miss Tammy, you're 15 years old, you want to get a tattoo, and you need to convince us that you should get it.
Fellow Toastmasters, honored guest. I don't have any tattoos currently, I do remember at one point in my life, I was not 15, but I thought about getting a tattoo. And I felt that it was like a rebirth, another beginning for me in my life, and I wanted to put Genesis on, it was like my hip. I didn't go through it. So, as parents, please allow me to get the tattoo because I feel this is where I am in my life. I have researched the place where I'm going to get the tattoo. It is very clean. They're good with the State Department, but please allow me to be me and let me get this tattoo. I would appreciate it.
That's a very interesting one. Yeah, it's very hard for people who want to get a tattoo. I thought about it a couple of times and decided that as a sailor, there are many tattoos that signify certain events. And I decided the only way I'm ever going to get a tattoo is if I am able to circumnavigate the globe. I'll get my little blue star on my ear stating that I am a master navigator. Mr. Toastmasters.
Thank you, Lawrence. Okay, so we'll move on to the general evaluation stage, and that will be led by Hugh Wing.
So good. I like the meeting tonight, and I like the both speakers' speech, and also table topic. And then now it's time for the evaluation. So the first one is for the.
I'm reviewing David Monroe's speech, Massive Passive Income. Very good speech. You nailed it. You used really good voice inflection, good pauses, just appropriate, moved around a little bit. Seemed like you knew the speech well, didn't fumble around with it. Had a little complication from the audience answering some of his questions, but he handled that well. So threw him a curveball, but he was able to overcome that. So that's always good. Comes from being well prepared, I believe. So the one thing that I could critique a little bit, I couldn't really find much, but I'd say maybe just go straight into the speech instead of doing like a good afternoon. Maybe that could help your intro be a little more powerful. Other than that, that's like the only thing I could really. You didn't use any other hums, so it's good. And like I said, go through the checklist. I had excellent on everything. This speech was how to say it, and you were very clear. You used kind of short sentences, got to the point, well organized. I followed the process all the way through and learned a little bit about how to make some money while I'm sleeping. So that's always good. I always like to hear that. So thank you, David. It was a good speech. Thank you.
Second one is
The speech that I'm evaluating is How to Stop Bleeding by Paul. Let's see here. Basically, the speech value, I gave it a 5. I think it was interesting, meaningful to the audience as far as preparation. You did mention a couple of websites, and I believe it was a book that you had looked at. Was that right? Or
Yeah, it's a website called How to Stop Bleeding. Actually, I have one. How to Stop Bleeding.
Okay, I'll look at that in just a second. The organization, Logical and Clear, I do believe that it was, based on the fact you are a doctor and it was clear to us. The opening, I gave a 4 to that. The body, 4, flowed smoothly. The conclusion was effective. The transitions from going from one part of the speech to the next, I gave a 5. What would you like about this presentation? I believe it's something that everybody needs to know, no matter what your profession is, or people always have accidents. What could the speaker have done differently to make the speech more effective? Probably just work on your nervousness. I still get nervous, even though I've been here, 6 months plus. That's it. Thank you. I'm good.
Okay, next time is grammar.
Yes, I will do the grammarian report today. So for the crutch words, Justin had 2, Paul had 2 repeats and 3 uhs. Tamby had your table topics, you didn't have any, but you had 2 on your evaluation. Ewing and it county thing, I had couple. Lawrence had 1 Heather had 2 uhs. And I did not hear the word of the day. Did anybody?
Lawrence kind of uttered it.
We give Lawrence one of those. Half a word of the day. Okay. So yeah, that is the grammarian report for today.
Thank you. And there's a timer.
Yes. Most speeches went a little over 7 minutes. They had that 30 seconds after the red to kind of stop, so they did a good job with that, which David's at 7:13 and Paul's at 7:04. Table topics, Cody was 1:01, Heather was 1 minute and 45 seconds, and Tammy was right under 1 minute with 54 seconds. And both evaluations were about 1 minute and 20 seconds. Great job. That's on time.
Okay, so give the time to someone.
Okay, thank you. So Lawrence, do you have a education overview topic for us tonight?
I am going to do an education overview.
Okay, great. Thank you.
So, once again, we are coming upon the point when we have to elect new leaders in our club. And because of that, I wanted to spend just a few minutes, and I think it would be a good idea in the next couple of meetings, if it's appropriate with the president, would be to have our educational overview talking about the different positions that are available as leaders in Toastmasters Club. And so because I'm the Vice President of Education, I'm going to speak just a moment about what it is to be Vice President of Education. Did I give this last week? Did I do VPE last week? No, I didn't.
No.
Okay, Vice President of Education. The Vice President of Education, it is that person's responsibility to set up the meetings, more or less. It doesn't take very much time because we are using some websites that are available, that the Easy Speak website, which actually makes it very easy to set it up. And then you can basically just push an automatic button and it picks out the names of everybody. And then you just have to go through and adjust it a little bit for people who have volunteered for a position, or even better, put them in first and then push the button and it'll fill up the other roles. And then you do various emails during the week to let people know that some of the positions may not have been filled, or somebody may have not been able to come to a meeting or not wanting to do that particular role in the meeting, and so then they need to be refilled. There's also a pre-written email that says, hey, you're in this position, we've elected you to be in this position, do you accept? Click on the link and say yes. And that's basically what it is. But the whole idea of a Vice President of Education is actually to inspire and help people to kind of motivate them to move forward in their educational process. As we know, Toastmasters is the least expensive method that you can use to get the kind of leadership and communication education that we get here. So, as Vice President of Education, that person is supposed to inspire people to fulfill the various different obligations and continue their efforts to move forward. One of the things that we are, the President and I have been talking about that we possibly need to start reinstituting in this club is the awards. When people get awards, recognizing them for making those steps through. And that would be part of the job of the Vice President of Education, to offer them awards for their successful completion of certain levels in the educational program, whether it is a communication path or a leadership path. And so that is the work of the Vice President of Education. It is fairly simple, and it's a good first step for anybody to start getting into the real leadership of the club and being able to work with other people and maybe even inspire yourself to move forward to other club level, district, international, national and international, maybe one day becoming the international president of Toastmasters. Mr. Topic Master.
Thank you, Lawrence.
Impromptu speech, so it's kind of a topic master.
Okay, great meeting tonight, some good speeches. I'll relinquish the lectern back to our president to conclude the meeting for us.
Fellow Toastmasters, honored guests, speaking of awards, we do have ribbons and pins stored in the bin.
Okay. Do we want to give out pins to those new members that have come in that have not received pins yet? Would that mean we have time to do it tonight? We got 10 minutes.
Yes, we can do that.
If you would like to.
Yes. Which of the newer Toastmasters have not received their pin? Just be in the club.
Stating that you joined the club.
Oh, no, I don't think.
I got it.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So do we have that many?
Give 10.
Oh, yes, I got all, yes, I have all of them.
There's some books that go on the table topics.
Okay. Would you like my help with that?
Yes. Okay. Present this to, okay, now, first we'll present this to Tammy.
Tammy, welcome to Toastmasters International and the Hilltoppers Toastmasters.
Okay, the next one will be presented to Katie, Miss Katie.
Welcome to Toastmasters and Hilltoppers Toastmasters Club.
Yu Ying.
Welcome to Toastmasters and the Hilltoppers Toastmasters Club.
Justin.
Welcome to Toastmasters International and the Hilltoppers Club.
Next is Cody.
Welcome to Toastmasters and Hilltoppers Club.
Next one is David.
David, welcome to Toastmasters International and the Hilltoppers Club.
And Paul.
Paul, welcome to Toastmasters International and the Hilltoppers Club. Thank you, sir. All right.
And that concludes the award ceremony.
We'll make it more formal in the future.
Vice President of Education, do you have the agenda?
I am about to get in there now. Let's see, I think I did one. So we are on the week. I think I can.
I have a question. Do we pay the $45 for the dues, Toastmaster International here, or do we go online and pay it, or?
Go online.
I tried.
If you're not an officer, from what I understand, you just have to, I brought my laptop. I can log into Toastmasters.org and.
We can give you the payment right there?
Right,
Okay.
right.
No
Yeah, you
problem.
can do it like, you can log in, you can send your information.
No problem, thank you.
Okay, as of now, I don't think I have any speakers for next week. I thought I had two, but actually I think I might have. Thomas has logged in saying he will be able to speak next week, but I still am short one speaker. I have Kedrick is the evaluator. Maurice is an evaluator. I don't have a grammarian. David, if you would, you might be able to do table topics next week. And Paul, could you be the timer?
I'm out of town.
You're out of town.
I'll do the second speech.
Okay. So, who is that?
Justin?
Justin, okay. We'll get you on the second speech. Did you already sign up to do a speech? No, you did not yet. Okay, I'll get you in there.
Okay.
And you're gonna do which one?
The third one, whichever that one is.
Get to the point.
Get to the point.
That's the point.
Okay, and Cody, I had you as the Toastmaster. Okay, so please, ladies and gentlemen, please go on to the website and approve your position in the next club meeting. And if you can't show up, then please let us know that too. And just for information's sake, Paul, I did bump you in as not coming next week, so save you have to go on there if you want. All right.
Okay. Before we adjourn, we had a visitor. I don't know if you mentioned your name to the club yet. Introduce yourself.
Hello everyone, my name is Byron Stone. Met Lawrence at a event over the weekend. He invited me over to see what Toastmasters International at Hilltoppers Club was all about. Took him up on his offer. Glad to be here.
All right, great.
Thank you.
And there was another young lady who stopped at the door. She said that she wanted to visit. She didn't want to visit tonight, so that's why she stayed at the door. But I guess expect her within the next, if not next week, but I guess sometime during the next few weeks.
Okay. Don't know who it was.
No, she didn't mention her name. She just said, I would like to come, but not tonight.
Yeah, it might have been one of the local. One of the workers.
Okay, if there is nothing else, then this meeting is adjourned.
We're not back.
All right.
So glad you came. Did you sign the guest book?
Speaker, Mr. Cullen.
Good, good.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I know that name.
He wrote a book.
Larry